The bomb was like going above my head and it hit it in the flat in front of me. For me, it's still like interesting how I survived it, actually, because everything was destroyed around me. I remember the shelter, the sirens, that the people were dying around me. The most important thing about my house is that my house wasn't burned by Muslim people. It was burned by my own people.
Oh no. So you are from the point of view of anti-vaxxers.
Definitely. Because I know a lot of people who took the vaccine and they started to be sick every month. How I ended up in India, that is the most juicy. Actually, I am the only one Bosnian person from Bosnia in Ashram, so...
What is your favorite Bosnian food? So it has more waterfalls than Italy, France and Germany combined. Welcome to another episode of Rocklaz Radio. This is your host Tanmay Shah and today we are going to Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Where did you find this Herzegovina?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And representing that country is
Snježana.
Snježana. We call her Blanch.
Yeah.
We have covered several topics in this podcast. I hope you enjoy the episode till the end. And make sure to subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing such amazing episodes to you and that you don't miss out. Cheers. So, Snježana, can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Should I say how old I am, where I'm coming from? So, yeah, I'm originally from Bosnia. I'm born in Dobo. It's a small city in Republic of Serbia. And that's it. I grew up there, finished the school. And then when I was 19, I left my country. When I was 19 years old.
Wow. And what do you do now?
What do I do now?
What do you do professionally?
I spent whole my life in hospitality, either as a waiter, supervisor, manager. Like, I went through all of the stages of hospitality in different countries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What made you leave your home country at the age of 19?
Oh my God, you started to asking very difficult questions. We should get prepared for this. What made me leave my country? First of all, I never was feeling like that is my country. Because since I was born, since I had this conscience, like I never felt that this is the place that I can call home, that is mine, because I grew up in the war. I'm the child of the war. So because maybe that was one of the reasons, like because we have to move. Then during the war, my house got burned down. Then we have to rebuild after the war our house, and then all the situation in Bosnia after the war was like very bad. It was like war never stopped. Like not even nowadays the war is not stop. It didn't stop there. Actually, it is by like we don't killing each other, but national hate it's still happening there, even 20 years later.
So who hates whom?
30 years later.
Who hates whom?
People, they hate themselves, they hate each other because of the religion. We have 3 different religions there. It's Muslim, Orthodox, and Catholic, and that was the war about in Bosnia actually, because first I guess I'm not so good in the reason why the war was happening, because I grew up in this atmosphere, so I wasn't ever interested to just know the reason behind. I had another things that I was dealing. Where will I sleep? What will I eat? Like my parents. So most of the people, I guess, wasn't even aware what is happening actually there. But it was about the Republic in Bosnia, Republic of Serbia, Republic of Croatia. But more or less everything was like about religion and nationalities. Yeah.
I was just reading up on the internet. It said Bosnia got independence in 1992. And a war started that went from 92 to 95.
Yeah. So, like I said, I could Google to tell you this information, but I really don't know the information.
I bring this up to say that it's very recent. It's not like from the World War. It's just like now, 30 years ago.
What do you want to say by that? I don't understand.
That we are glad to have somebody who has been through the war because it was so recent.
Yeah.
And we can hear about stories from what is it like to be a part of a conflict and grow up at that time.
For sure, nothing good.
How old were you when this was
I
happening?
was 5 years old, and then war stopped when I was 8 years old. But as I said, war never stopped there, because most of the country was completely destroyed. Like buildings were destroyed. We were bombarded like from everywhere. We were living in the shelter under the ground. Like most of my period from my 5th until 8th year, like was living in the shelter. Whenever we hear the sound of the sirens, we have to run under the ground. So I don't think there is nothing nice to say. And even when it eventually stopped, we were living in completely destroyed country, like in completely destroyed city, economic crisis, inflation, or how to say that, like nothing was working, like only we weren't no more afraid that somebody will kill us, but everything else just continued. Yeah.
You were just a child, 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And when we think about a childhood, we think about going on slides, playing in the park, having fun, drawing things.
Yeah.
But how was childhood for you?
Should I cry? I will cry. I don't think this is like the proper topic. How the childhood was for me. I will try to not be emotional. I don't think this is the right topic.
Tissue. Tissue.
Break. It is eventually childhood full of trauma. I don't want to cry over myself, but actually the worst happening since forever, and they will happen forever. Like it is like I grew up in this war, and after that the war was happening in Serbia. Nowadays it's happening in Israel, Russia, Ukraine. Like the war is constantly happening everywhere, all around the world. The only things that makes difference that I survived like one war, and I'm like here able to talk about it. But it's something that is still happening, and people still living in this type of environments all over the world. And for example, the war is happening outside and inside of the house. So I was the child that grew up in the war that's happening outside and inside of the house. So
Can you elaborate on what do you mean by war inside the house?
The most of the Balkan people or the Balkan males are extremely violent. So yeah, my father was also like violent. Like most of his friends or family, like they were violent toward their kids and women. I think we should change the topic. Can we do the pause? Or you want this? You want me to cry?
These are some authentic experiences that the media doesn't tell. So to hear for the internet, to hear it from somebody who has grown through it makes a bigger impact. To feel what you felt, to know what it actually is, not just the stories which are spoken by news reporters.
Whatever was spoken by new reporters is a lie. It's like all over the world. It's like a global manipulation, media manipulation. People are getting information about what's happening in another countries only by decision of some politic guy who want this to be represented like that. But the truth is completely something else. Like, I remember that, for example, Angelina Jolie, she came in Sarajevo like a couple of years ago. She wanted to do the movie about what really happened in the world and in the war back then. And they represented it like the Serbs, like my people, were killing Muslims, like that we were like the biggest terrorists in the world, in the war. And I don't know who sold this story to her and how she believed in that and how she get to idea to choose the side in the world. Like in the world, there is no side. There is no one people that is guilty. There is no, if the war is happening between two nations, only the innocent people are dying, no matter is it the Muslims, Orthodox, Catholic, Serbs, like Russian, it doesn't matter. The point of the war is that innocent people are dying and they are putting completely another story to the in the news, what is not real. It's all about innocent people killing innocent people, no matter what the religion they are. So, yeah.
So how was time in the war? What memories can you share some memories as you look back upon it?
As far as I know, that period when I was in the war is actually when the child, when the brain is like a sponge. It sucks all the information, and that is what built you. Like this period until 4 years, you are like already you already have your own personality. And that was actually the period where I was like soaking everything, and I was living in the war. So for sure it built up kind of my, not kind of, I would say most probably my personality is based on the war and what was happening back then. And I remember a lot of things. I remember that was actually very interesting. I will never forget it. I was living in this building, and across the building, just across the way, was living my best friend. And she was like living on the 5th floor on the top of the building. And I was really, really small, and my shoes, like, I don't know how to say.
Tie the laces.
I have to tie yeah. And I was climbing with her and her mother to her flat. And I saw that, how you said? Lace are loose. And then I seated on the stairway. I wanted to fix it, but because I was very little, I know that my mother was explaining me how to do it, but you never can catch it. Like when it comes to this situation, you need like half an hour to realize it's it this way or that way or how to do it. And I seated on the stairway, and the bomb was like going above my head, and it hit it in the flat in front of me. And I don't know what happened. The bomb didn't explode, actually, but it was fire all over the place because it's like a very huge grenade bomb, but it didn't explode. Otherwise, the whole building would be destroyed, but only flat in front of me was burning. And that is the only thing that I remember. And my mother was in front of our building, what was across the building, and she told me that she saw me how am I running from the fire, out of the fire. And I was like literally running with my eyes closed, and I reached to her hand, and I just lost conscience. Yeah. So for me, it's still like interesting how I survived it, actually, because everything was destroyed around me. So that is the things that I really remember. I remember the shelter, the sirens, that the people were dying around me. Yeah, I remembered it. People crying.
in these difficult times, what would get smile on your face as a kid?
Oh, to see my family alive
Hmm.
and my friends, and I guess to able to not hear the sound of the sirens actually was for sure the very good thing. Then you are free to play outside
Hmm.
with your friends and with the family. But if you hear the sound of the sirens, then everybody was like very scared and everybody was running to the shelter. So, yeah.
You have siblings?
Yeah, I have brother.
How would the food day to day and all these things, no regular need things, happen in the time of war?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Did your father work during the time of war?
No, he was in the war.
He was a soldier.
Yeah, he was a soldier.
So you didn't see him for 3 years.
No, he was coming home, actually. I don't know, I don't remember. But I remember that also it was interesting because I was really connected with my father. And I knew he was coming maybe one time in a month. He would come for 2 days or something like that. I don't know how it was happening. But I remember myself on the balcony and they would announce that they will come home, that they survived this whatever was happening, and that he will come home on the weekend. And we were waiting on him, and I would see him on the balcony and I would start to scream, "Daddy, daddy, 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 daddy." And then each time when I see him, I will lose my conscience again. And I would fall in his hand, yeah. Yeah, he was a soldier. So practically we were afraid, will he come back home? Yeah.
And you felt very happy whenever he did. In the early on, you were mentioning he was really violent also. So even in these 2-3 days, he used to come home, soldier in a war, completely immersed in violence. Would he bring back the violence even to the house?
Yes.
So it was a mix of a moment, I guess.
It was a mix of violent. Everywhere on the street was violent. War was violent. World was violent. Anyway, what can you expect from the people who are coming out of the world, like of the war to the house? Like the violent, they have to kill to survive. So actually, I'm proud of my father. From one side, after the war was finished, there was a different people during the war. Like, war was showing actually the real faces of the people and what was really inside of them. So there was a people who would go outside and they will kill the kids. They would cut their heads. They will rape the women in the villages and rape the kids. They would do that even if they didn't have to do those things. There was like a lot of people like that, but somehow I believe that my father wasn't like that, because after the war was finished, my father was in some restaurant with my mother, and then from suddenly he got so many food and the drinks on the table, and he didn't know where it comes from. And there was because we were Serbs, and the war that was my father in was against the Muslim people. We were Orthodox, they were Muslim. So if you catch the Muslim person as a Serb, you have to kill this person. Normal things. So eventually, on the place where my father was, he he catch some Muslim guy.
In the restaurant.
No, in the war. I hope you understand me. I will try to explain you better. In the war, when he was in this wood, whatever, he catch this guy, and he was a Muslim, and this guy told him, "Please don't kill me. I have 5 children at home." And my father told him, "Okay, I will let you go, but please run as
Fast as possible.
as fast as possible. Like, I don't want to kill you. I have also my kids." Eventually, 10 years later, this guy saw my father, and he sent him a drink and food, and he was there with the wife and kids, and he come to my father table, and he thanked him that he let him go, because he, by all the rules, soldier rules, he should kill him. If the army find out that he let him go, he will have the consequences regarding it. So my father told me that he was killing. Actually, he told me to not ask too many questions, but he told me that he was killing just to protect himself. But if he had the opportunity to let somebody go, that he would do it. So from this, somehow I believe that this is the truth. But we saw a lot of examples where the soldiers were doing a lot of bad things that was completely unnecessary, to just go around and rape the kids and the women and cut their heads. It's insane. Whatever is happening, there is no need to do those things. And I believe that my people and the people from the another side were doing the same things. And it's not about the Serbs or the Muslims, it is about the type of the person who is able to do that.
Wow. Both the sides of the, as you said, true nature of people. And
true nature of the people, not your religion or nationality. It doesn't has nothing with that.
Or is it just frustration? What is the thing? What is the thing that would hold somebody back from doing it? If that is lost, then people just do whatever they want.
Can you repeat?
There is conscience, right? That I shouldn't do this. Either rape or some extreme things like that. And both the religions, Christianity, Muslim, even they, to the fundamentals, it's brotherhood, right? Not to do these things. So what, I want to know, what would make them cross these limits and do whatever they want?
A hate that is put in their mind, that they should hate someone just because it's another religion. And as I said, these things never stopped. It's still existing in my country. That's why I left my country when I was very young, because I couldn't handle this idea about that somebody is better from me or somebody is worse than me because he's another religion. For me, that was, since I was little, for me that was insane. I never, because my parents didn't teach me, actually. My parents, that is the bright side of my family, they never, no matter what they went through, they never told me to separate people by religion. They always told me to separate people on the good people and on the bad people. They never teach me to hate nobody. So that is not so common thing in Bosnia. In Bosnia was common thing that you should hate somebody if it's another religion. And I'm very proud that nobody teach me that. Yeah, so...
Absolutely. So when this Muslim person was giving all the food and drinks and buying all the things for your father in that restaurant, what was his reaction?
He was very happy, actually, and I remember he came with my mother that night home, and then he shared this story with us, and we were really happy. It's for sure he was very proud of himself, and for sure I was also very proud of him. Still I am, actually, because I remember this story and I was very little. So yeah, that was also highlights of my childhood, or the best sides, better sides. Yeah.
You grew up in a country which was having a war because of religion.
Yeah.
What is your perspective on religion?
On religion?
Have you chosen a religion for yourself?
No.
Or how do you look at religion and spirituality?
Oh my God. Did you watch Life of Pi movie? I'm kind like that.
What do you mean?
I believe in everything and I believe in nothing. I am not able to worship something or to belong to one religion or one spirituality or one guru or one country. It's like I don't believe that ultimate truth is happening in one religion. It's not possible. And that was I was like rejecting since I was very, very little, when they teach me to worship the Jesus, and when we had this class about religion in the school and so on and so on. And then you would see on the, for example, movies or documentary movies, that there is a people who believe in the spirit of the snakes or the fire or in karma or whatever. And I wasn't never, I don't know how to explain. I couldn't never believed that this what we believe in is truth, because if you they teach us, if you believe in this Jesus and whatever, you will go to the heaven. And then I remember when I was very little, I would ask the question, and what is with these people in Africa who they don't have a Jesus, for example? So they will go to the hell or what? So when I was very little, it was very confusing for me, but after some time when I was growing up, I realized that my religion can never be something that is separating the people. So my religion can be something that is uniting the people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this has never happened before. Let me just check the fuses.
Maybe our energy.
Oh yeah, man.
You see, I told you. It's about energy.
Energy.
Can we continue? Or?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something that I was searching for a long time, and I wasn't never able to find it, because if you have the church for Orthodox people, there is going only Orthodox people in. If you have the church for Catholic, they are going there. And then there's a mosque for Muslim people, they are going there. But they are not mixing with each other. I can visit it, but it's just a visiting. But we don't go in the same place to worship the same God. So eventually I was atheist all the time, kind of. I believed, my religion was like to believe in the trees, in the natures, and if I do good to you, the good will come back to me. So I was believing in these things, but that wasn't a belief. Like, that was just my thoughts. Okay, I want to live by these rules, but I never had like religion, or because I saw what religion brought. Like, it brought only wars. So why would I be a part of religion?
And what do you think about, now you have come to India?
Really? I'm in India. That's good news.
And you're wearing a big tilak.
What is this actually?
Tilak.
Okay.
Tilak, yeah. So what are your thoughts on Sanatan Dharma or Hinduism?
Oh. Is that a religion or is spirituality? What is Hinduism?
I believe it's more spiritual. It's philosophy of life. It's not really a bookish religion.
So, I finally find a place where we are all together. That is what I saw now during Navratri.
Mm-hmm.
That all the people from different countries, white, black, Asian people, this and that, we all joined under the same roof to do meditation or to share good vibes with each other, to support each other. So this possibly can be my religion. It's the most closest to what I wanted. Actually, this is kind of my affirmation to find this type of place where I belong, and I think I find it.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually I did.
Wow. And you want to give a shout out to your manager for that?
My manager, she's my art of living, actually. This is also interesting story
How did you find out of living?
How I ended up in India. That is the most, how to say, I have to use the Google just a second. You will cut it somehow.
The manager she's referring to is our common friend, Romina, who's from Russia, who's behind the camera today.
Romina, my sunshine, Russian lady. How I ended up in India is actually the most juicy thing. Romina is the most juicy thing. And like my last 5 months of my life are like the bright side of my life. Before that, or like before 2 years ago, my life is, if whatever part of my life we meant it was disaster. Like 2 years ago, my life started to go uplifting, but before that, everything was like worst, then worst, then worst, then worst.
What can get worse from war?
It can. War within yourself. It's also very bad thing when you are like dealing with your own demons and you are having the war in, like, because the war was like my, I don't know how to explain that.
Trigger.
No. When you kindergarten, how you say kindergarten?
That's the right word. We say it as kindergarten.
Kindergarten. So I didn't have a kindergarten. My kindergarten was war. So it built up you somehow. So as I said, the war was finished, but it wasn't finished. Then the war in the house. Then actually my idea about Bosnia was never accepted in my environment. How I was seeing on my view on religions, and
what was your view?
I was fighting against everything. I was fighting about society. I was fighting with society, with the school system, with everything. I was really rebelled. I didn't accept anything what they were offering me. So eventually, when I was 19, I just fly away. I was like, I will never live in this country. So if you are forced to run away because you were discriminated by your ideology or how you see the world and how I see that everything what they're doing there is wrong, and if I'm forced to leave my hometown, my home, my mother, my parents, of course, I took this war and I brought this war with me.
Wherever you went?
When I was 19, I went to Montenegro because I wanted to live next to the sea. So I went to the Montenegro and then I lived there. Then later I moved to Belgrade.
Where is Montenegro? Where is Montenegro?
Montenegro is also in Europe. It's very close to the Bosnia. And in Croatia, it's the seaside.
Talking about sea, I just read a fun fact. Bosnia's sea is just 20 kilometers short.
Yeah.
Shortest in the world, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, that is the only exit that we have on the sea. I never was in this place, actually. Some people are going to the holidays there. I was like, I will never visit this place. What should I do there? So, yeah.
When you were forced to move out, what was in your mind? Did you choose it yourself or they like send you have to leave?
Both. Both. It was both. I wanted to leave so bad because I didn't felt like I'm the part of this society. I was living like in mental prison. I don't know how to explain it. I was just waiting my school to finish and I said I will leave, I will never come back. And actually I never come back. So I come back for some months, but to live again I never was. Is there some spirits here that you call them that I don't
Probably
see them?
they're coming to greet you.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah, and also...
Did you have a plan where you wanted to go?
Actually, I wanted to go to Croatia, but my mother was very afraid me to go to Croatia because there was also this Serbo-Croatian hate. And she was really afraid that me, when I'm 19 years old, to go to the Croatia with the Croatian people, and she was literally crying and begging me to not go there. And that's how I decided to go to Montenegro, because Montenegro is Serbish land. I don't know. Most Serbs, we are kind of the same nationality, so that's how I decided to go. And Montenegro and Croatia are very, very, very close.
Then what did you do after that? How were you supporting yourself?
How you think? What is your question?
At 19, somebody goes out independently.
Yeah. And don't know nothing about life. Let's start from there, because my father didn't allow me nothing. He was really strict. He didn't let me to have a boyfriend or to go here and there to like live like a normal teenager. And then eventually when I started to not listening to him no more, because I was always like very good child. I was listening everything and was saying yes to everything. And then I realized that something is wrong here. And then first time when I said to him, no, you don't have right, it's not like this, he told me to leave the house. And I said, yes, I will leave the house. And me going out of the house, which I didn't know nothing, most of the time I was spending in the nature, in the woods, because I was really into the natures. And me from the nature to go on the sea to find a job with zero experience, knowing nothing about life, it was like, wow. It wasn't very easy things, but somehow I was ready for that.
How many years did you spend in Montenegro?
I spent that season. Then it was 4 months. Then I go back to home. And then when I realized that is going back to home even more dysfunctional than I expected, then I said, okay, next year I'm going and I will never come back. And I went, and then I never go back.
Then you went to Dubai?
Huh?
When did you go to Dubai?
Oh, Dubai was last year.
And before that?
Before that, I lived in Serbia. I lived in Switzerland, Austria.
And what kind of work were you doing when you're traveling on this country?
Hospitality. It's always hospitality. It was always hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
Since I was 19, it was hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
It was the most easiest work to find, and it pays off. It's like the job that brings a lot of tips. So I was always... it was easy to find it, and it was easy to earn the money. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I was always choosing that. And eventually, it was a job that let's say you don't have to have some background education, but you have to have another things.
Like,
Like, I don't know how to say on English. Lot of patience, lot of attitude. You have to know when you can say something, when you should be quiet. It's also a violent area, especially in Balkan places, because I was very young and I was working with the drunk men's. So it was again a very violent area.
how did
I was
you
serving the drinks, alcohol.
how did you protect yourself? It could go anyway, right?
Oh, how I was protecting myself. I don't know. I always had this attitude, I guess, and I always had the luck that somebody is protecting me, like some higher power, because I was on the street and I was very young and nobody was behind me and I was alone in these cities doing this type of job. Everything could happen
Young
to
and
me.
beautiful.
Huh?
Young and beautiful.
Yeah, and a lot of things could happen to me. A lot of things should happen to me, but I don't know what was driving me through all these things. But I was always kind of protected and saved from all the possible situation that could happen, because there was happening a lot of things.
And were you also, like, very assertive and firm, and like, did you know martial arts?
Yeah, I'm using eyes for that, and my tongue and my facial expression.
Okay.
And that's what are people more afraid than me hitting somebody.
Show us your angry face.
No, I will not show it. I'm showing it only when I'm feeling it. I cannot fake it.
Amazing. Couple of more things I wanted to ask about Bosnia, and then we want to get into another phase of your life that you once mentioned.
More beautiful,
this is about the language, about the Bosnian language.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you close your eyes for us? Think of your most beautiful memory.
My most beautiful memory. Okay.
Your favorite memory.
Hmm?
Think of your favorite memory.
Okay.
And share it with us in the Bosnian language. First of all, what's the Bosnian language called?
Serbo-Croatian, I would say like that. That is. Should I open my eyes or should?
Yeah, you can open.
Somebody will say Serbish, somebody will say Bosnian, somebody will say Croatian.
Okay.
But in ex-Yugoslavia, it was Serbo-Croatian language. And I'm still leading this example. I'm still talking about this language as it was when we were all united.
Okay.
And what is not common nowadays. Everybody will say I'm talking Serbish or Croatian or Bosnian. Nobody will put it together. So I'm putting it still together because...
Okay. Let's hear Serbo-Croatian then.
Should I say just one sentence or whole story?
Whole story, because you want to hear the sound of the language.
Pa moje najljepše sjećanje kojeg mogu da se sjetim je povratak u našu kuću koju smo sagradili posle rata. Ta priroda, ta sloboda, imala sam mačka svog malog s kojim sam se igrala u šumi na livadi, brala sam maslačke, pravila sam med od toga. Mama je sadila ruže i sve nekako ličilo na život.
Now, can you please translate in English?
On English is when we rebuilt our house after the war. It was 5 years after the war was finished. We rebuilt our house that was burned during the war. And we go back to this place where my house was really in the nature next to the wood, and my mother was very good in planting the roses, and whatever she would plant, it will grow. And I had this cat, and only being in the nature, in the woods, playing in the freedom.
Wow. How old were you when the house burned down?
That was during the war. And the most important thing about my house is that my house wasn't burned by Muslim people. It was burned by my own people.
Oh no.
That's the most important fact.
Why?
You know? Oh, different situation evokes different feeling in the people. So, as I said, the war wasn't happening only between Serbish or Muslim or Serbish and Croatian people. That this war had different levels, like of let's say different levels, and also if you were having like very nice house and you had a jealous neighborhood, he would come and rob everything from your house and he will burn it down to the ground. Doesn't matter if he's from your tribe. It's these things what we are carrying inside of us, is like the war just showed the true faces of the people.
So it was out of jealousy and scarcity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that was the war was the playground for those emotions, kind of like people would do really unnecessary things. Like, why would you do it? Why would you, if you are in the war with a different religion, nobody knows how did we get there. Why would you do it to your neighborhood, to the part of your tribe? So the people were doing those things also, yeah. So eventually we find out that it happened by from the person from our tribe, let's say like that.
And what was the reason he mentioned?
It was just the war profiteers, like can I say it like that? There was a people who were using the war to make a profit, so they would robbing the houses and burning them down, leaving no traces behind. So there was, after the war, like you could see who was the war profiteer. Like there was people who were going out of the war. The war was like we were losing everything there. We were losing the houses. We didn't have a job. Like my father was a soldier. How can you go out of the world and out of the war and build a company that worth like $500,000, except if you weren't use the war as your own profit. So there was a lot of people like that. Of course, they were robbing the houses because the people were forced to leave their houses, their homes, and they were leaving everything. And those certain people, they were coming and stealing everything.
At what time does this happen? Was there nobody at home?
Nobody actually was at home because we were forced to leave the homes and we went to the shelters.
Oh, okay.
So we left everything in the house.
All right. So you had left the house and you were living in the shelter for 3 years, and the house?
No, we left the house because, for example, the house where I lived, we moved to the city, and I was living 4 kilometers on the top of the hill from the center of the city. And the area where my house was, it was war areas.
Okay.
Like, so the soldiers were like living there, and the fight was happening there, and like because they were choosing the hills from which they can bombard the city. So we weren't able to live there, so we moved to the city, to the building, to the flat, and the shelter was under the building. Like we were on the second floor, and we go the floor under, and there was a shelter under the building. It's like that.
How did you manage to get your food and rations during the time of war?
We had some. I know that we were going with my mother. That I was going to. How you call it? Red Cross.
Red rice.
Red Cross, like there was like humanitarian organization back then that they
Red Cross.
Yeah, Red Cross, that they were supplying us with the clothes and with the food, and yeah, that's how we were getting it. I know that we would go there and take some clothes and food. Yeah.
One more thing from the what do you say, the dark side. You had mentioned once to me that you had fallen into addiction.
Oh, that's not. You really want me to talk about it? Let's talk about it. Okay. That one has nothing with the war. That is after my mother died.
At what age? What age were you then?
That was 3.5 years ago.
Okay, just now.
Just, you can say now for me it looks more far than the war.
Okay.
So yeah.
Where were you? Where were you at this time?
In Vienna.
So then, how did it start?
Am I the only person that will cry on this type of podcast? Is another people crying?
Yeah.
That is the question. They are crying or not?
Yeah.
They do. You should show me this podcast where they are crying.
I mean, not yet.
Huh?
Not yet, but I
will be the first.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think there'll be more people in the future.
So how the addiction happened, or?
Yeah, how did the addiction happen?
So
how did you get addicted to drugs?
How I get addicted? Very easy. It's very easy. In Europe, it's very easy to get addicted to anything, because that is how the everything is function like that. They putting different type of drugs, like on the street. Everything is available. It's very hard to get addicted. Most of the population in Europe
it's very
are
hard not
addicted
to get addicted.
It's very hard to not get addicted, actually. Either you're addicted to the drugs, either you're addicted to the alcohol, to the cigarette, coffee, sugar, overeating, or antidepressive. It must be something that you're using. In Europe, you have to use something, or to the shopping, or to the complex, I don't know, but there is things that you have to be addicted in order to be a part of the machine, the part of the society, as they want it to be. If they didn't want it to be, it wouldn't be so easy to find and to get it. So that is also the, for sure, how to say, just a second, my mind blocked on English. That is the goal of this, some person on the top who is leading it all. That we are all addicted on something so that they can control us. And that was the obvious during Corona, when they wanted to do the vaccine. How you say
vaccination? Yeah.
Vaccination. It was obvious. Everybody ran to get it. So that is how we are addicted. And when there is addiction, there is a fear.
But vaccine is something good, right? You need to get vaccinated to prevent COVID.
In which country is that good? Is not good.
It was very good. It was very successful in India.
In India, I don't know what was happening in India, but in Europe wasn't good at all.
Why?
To do. Why?
You're saying taking vaccine was not good?
At all.
Why?
It's completely opposite. Nobody gives you nothing for free. Nobody forces you. In Europe, they were literally forcing us that we will lose our jobs if we don't take the vaccine. How can that be good?
To prevent your life?
What life? Do you know how many people were during this period where they were dying from the cancer because they weren't able to reach to the chemotherapy or to reach to the hospital? The people who were really, really struggling with some disease, nobody didn't care about them. To prevent what? Insanity.
So you are from the point of view of anti-vaxxers.
Definitely. Definitely is like, and it's, I don't know what's happening in India, but as I said, but in Europe, it wasn't nothing good. It didn't came out nothing good from that. Like, because I know a lot of people who took the vaccine and they started to be sick every month. My best friend died, like, so I don't think it's funny.
Because
like,
of the vaccine?
Because he had a heart disease. So he took the vaccine, eventually he died. It must not be like that, but all the people that I know that they took vaccine, they are no more healthy people. So, and I know a lot of examples where people took the vaccine and they died. So I was completely against it. And during the COVID, it's like I was always the person who was using the common sense and my instinct. So I'm not for the vaccine or against the vaccine. I'm not I'm not the person who is choosing the side. I'm following my personal instinct. My personal instinct told me that nothing is given for free. Not like vitamin C is given for free. Not even the water is given for free. Why somebody will give me like vaccine for free? And it's not for free. They told me if you don't take it, you will lose a job. So for me, that wasn't logic at all. So that was the moment when I was like, okay, if somebody is forcing me on something, it cannot be good. It actually cannot be good. And even they were sending us letter that we have to pay the penalty of 500 euro if I don't take the vaccine. What is that? I will not be able to do this, go there, because I don't take the vaccine. Come on, let's talk.
So is it also because of the war that you have, like, yourself has grown up to be in a defensive mode to anything somebody's pushing on you?
Definitely. It's a war, it's my life. Like, I guess I'm using a common sense. In the end, it's proven that all my friends, that they took vaccine, and after all this went, so after all this passed, everybody told me during the COVID, oh, why are you doing this? Like, don't do that. And for me, it was like very hard because I was convincing also my father to not take the vaccine. And I was really afraid, like, okay, if he take the vaccine and if he dies, then I will blame myself that I allow him to take the vaccine, because I would say it is because of the vaccine. But if he dies and if he don't take the vaccine, then I will blame myself that I didn't give him to take the vaccine because maybe the vaccine could save him. And that is this dualism that they...
Do you think it was a propaganda by the government?
Definitely propaganda by government. Why did it stop from one day to another?
Why didn't?
Why did it stop from one day to another?
What do you mean?
Because the corona was like until the moment the war in Russia start, and then the corona disappeared. Literally disappeared. And by then, people would have to take first, second, third, fourth vaccine, and from one day to another, the war in Russia start. Nobody's talking about corona. Corona disappeared in 3 days. No more vaccines. You are free to do that. You are free to go there. No more tests. Nothing. From one day to another. Of course,
So
it's
you were in
propaganda.
Vienna at that time.
Yeah.
And during the COVID lockdowns and these processes, is that when you got addicted to drugs?
No, that is the period when my mother was sick.
Okay.
and she was having a brain cancer, and she wasn't able to go to the hospital. So, and I wasn't able to go to visit her in the Bosnia. So for Corona, for me, was something
that you hated at the lockdowns because of the medical condition and that you're not able to meet her.
I didn't hate nothing. Let's start from there. I'm not the person who is hating nothing. I don't know what hate means. And that is the things that I'm repeating since I was kid. I am not able to hate. I don't have hate inside of me. There is a things that I'm fighting against that I don't accept. There is a love, and there is like I ignore you completely. But hate is a big word for me. Like, I don't want to hate not even Corona or war. Like, there is no hate. There's
but because you have seen so much of hatred and violence, that's why you don't like the word hate in your dictionary. You don't have it.
I don't know, is it that the reason, or because of the common sense, what hate means? Like, did anybody sit down and think about, I hate this white color, I hate your t-shirt. What that means, like,
What does hate mean?
What hate means, like, and is it worth to be hated, and what this hate actually do to you, or what this hate actually do to me when I say
So what I mean by hate is aversion. Or aversion as in disliking something or trying to avoid it.
Corona
or
was
having a negative feelings associated with it.
So
that
actually,
was hate for me.
maybe, aversion, So Corona was Cold War. It's again war. It was a war. For me, was another shape of the war that I experienced already. So maybe because I was already into the war, like, so I saw same war on another level. So maybe I was aware on the another. I had this awareness and common sense that most of the people who didn't went through the war, they didn't see it. Because if I knew only 2% that they didn't took the vaccine, that means like that actually I saw something different that they weren't able to see it.
Mm-hmm. So this, coming back to the addiction part, what was it that that triggered it, and your mother's death?
Okay.
Was it your mother's death that triggered you to go towards drugs? And
actually, all her
what
disease,
caused you to start taking drugs?
She was very sick, and I have to travel every month to go to Bosnia to take care of her, and this. Actually, it is a very complex topic that I don't want to open. It takes a lot of time and energy to explain it all. Anyway, in some point of our life, we were all again together in my family, taking care of my mother that she was sick. And the relationship in the family between us didn't work anymore because everybody had their own life. And from sudden, my mother is very sick, and all this pressure about Corona and lockdowns, and go there, go out, do these tests, whatever we have to do tests. Whenever I have to cross the border, I have to pay a huge amount to get the test that I was vaccinated, which I didn't did it. So I was doing the fake tests. I can say it openly. Like it was the rules are made to be broken, kind of. So I was always using this way.
So the family, everything was very intense and tense at the house. Then what happened?
Yeah, it was. I don't know. This is really. I don't know. Do I want to talk about this actually?
Okay. So why I'm like insisting and asking this is I want to understand what causes somebody to
go to the addiction.
Yeah. And then how does it feel like in the beginning, and then when you got out of it, right? So that, and Like everybody says no to drugs. I mean, you also might have known that before. But what caused you to go and try it out, take it out?
As I said, in Europe, it's very easy to get
Very easy to get.
addicted, because the society, once again, is made like that you are addicted on this or that.
Some of the other thing.
Doesn't matter. Is it antidepressive? Is it alcohol? Is it drugs? Everybody is on something there in Europe. Like, I don't know how much you are close to the Europe and you know about the Europe, but everybody is on something there, literally. Like, doesn't matter what type of addiction is. So when my mother died, it was really traumatic experience for me. Whole her disease, what we went through, and corona and that, and eventually she died. I don't believe that I'm talking about this, but okay. Eventually she died, and for me there wasn't any reason to live no more. She was she was my biggest reason. And since I don't have this inside of me, that I can sit down and cry over something and be depressive and stay at home and take the antidepressives, like whatever, her death triggered me to, instead of that, I will go there. I mean, it wasn't my plan, but since I have to go back to work, and my work was like in the clubs, in the restaurants, and then the drugs were everywhere, so I started slowly to use alcohol every day, and with alcohol is coming the drugs, and eventually one day you wake up and you are either drugged or drunk every day. Yeah, so it happened step by step. I think I wanted to die with her, so that was the reason. I wasn't the person who was thinking about the suicide or something like that, but deep inside of me, I didn't wanted to live no more also. So that's why I was doing all these things to myself. And I wouldn't stop it, but I eventually stopped it because my best friend died 2 years later. And when he died, that was the moment of awakening, actually. Like, when I was like, realized that I cannot go deeper. I'm already too deep. And again, somebody who is very close to me died, and they turned machine in front of me. So I was able to enter to the hospital in the last moment, where I thought that he's good. And when I entered the hospital, they told me that they will shut down the machine, that he's dead. So they did it in front of me. So that was another trauma that I experienced. And then I don't know what happened, but his death like kind of awake me and bring a lot of changes. And then I was like, okay, this is not working no more like this. I'm leaving everything. And from one day to another, I decided to move. And then I went to Dubai. And actually, I chose Dubai because there isn't drugs and alcohol allowed in every corner. So I was like, I'm going to the country where this is not available on every corner. Like in Europe, they were serving you with a drink. I don't know. You go to the shop, in the bar, in the restaurant, they will give you. You go to the club, you order the drink, they ask you what type of drugs you want. It's extremely normal thing that happen on every corner. So I just didn't want to live no more in this type of environment, and I cut it everything from one day to another, and then I just one day to another and I fly away.
You lost meaning in life when you started it.
Yeah.
Because you lost meaning in life, you started it. But when your best friend died, what was in your mind? Did you find a new meaning?
So I don't know, this friend that I had, he was definitely one of the best friends that I had, and he was like really, really, really good for me. With me, he was my father, my brother. Is like my hugest support. He was like pushing me and supporting me in everything. He was like my angel guardian. I cannot explain this type of the person to have. And he was always believed that I'm made for something bigger. So I guess I didn't heard him so much when he was alive, and his death bring me this awareness that he was. I finally was able to understand what he was talking to me, kind of.
That you are
So-
meant for a bigger purpose.
Yeah, so kind of I woke up from the dream that I was living in, and this nightmare that I was living last 2 years, and then I was just decided to spread my wings and fly away. And I did it. And then I ended up in India.
How did you come to India?
How I ended up in India. Oh my God. This podcast will be so long and not so boring. It's like a Hollywood movie. I'm feeling like a Marilyn Monroe that survived. Black Marilyn Monroe that survived environment and war. How I ended up in India. So once I was in Dubai, after 3 months, I stopped to use drugs and alcohol. Everything started to be very clear to me. Let's start from there, that I never ever wanted again to go back to that. It was, I cannot explain you what happened to me. It's like I was living in the magic bubble. And like I was living in the matrix. Like these 2 years living in the drugs and alcohol after my mother died is like I was living in the matrix. I wasn't able to see nothing. And the death of my friend awake me up. I cannot explain this feeling. And after that wasn't any possibility to go back to the previous way of life. It's kind of magic that happened also, I can say that. And yeah.
What would you say to people to not go to drugs?
To say to the people to not go to the drugs. Like I think there is a lot of people outside who said why to not go to the drugs, and people yet going there. So it's a part of the process. Like I cannot say no to the drugs or say yes to the drugs, because if I was the person who was completely aware of what drug means, like I was the person who was reading a lot of drugs. I was the cut this. So I was the person who was reading a lot of books about drugs. I was completely aware of what drugs can do to you and why they are not good to be taken, and so on. But in this moment, it means nothing to you. Like it's not interesting to you in the moment when you lose everything and when you don't have reason to live. None books, not no to the drugs will help you. Actually, it's the process. Like I mean, if I didn't went through this darkness, through this deep darkness that I was in, I wouldn't able to see the light. So it's a part of the process. Like you cannot say people no to the drugs. We are not kids. We are all aware what drug means. Like we are all aware that the sugar is not good for us, so we are still taking it. They are putting this on the cigarettes, pictures, very bad picture of your lungs or people dying, kids are dying, smoking is killing people, still are smoking. Like you cannot, people should be aware of it.
So just telling facts why it is not good doesn't help.
No.
You have to go and solve the core issue why the person has gone towards it.
How you mean? Can you repeat?
There is a deeper reason why somebody is smoking or somebody
Yeah.
is got addicted to drugs.
Mhm.
So we need to find that reason and try to help them get out of it, or prevent, or give them an alternative to drugs to deal with that situation.
I don't know what's happening for example, in Asia, but in Europe we are very far from spirituality. Even in the religion we have there is completely fake. It means it's like we are very far from ourselves. The idea of the family is destroyed. Like there is no marriage no more. Like people getting married and then in 3 months, 2 years they getting divorced. There is no loyalty. There is no respect. We lost all the fundamental things to build strong personality and to that those things also that brings awareness, that we can see clearly life and what is good and what is not good. So we don't have this. How you think we will just go and say no to drugs or alcohol or cigarette? That is the thing that should be learned in the schools. Like not to teach us what is mathematics, what is physics, who is Einstein, about historical details that are so not important, to make the kids so dumb to go out on the street to take the drugs because they don't know what drugs is. And even if they know, they don't care. But the base, the fundamental base is destroyed, that there is no family no more in the Europe.
Do you think spirituality has answers for that?
Definitely. So
I guess that's the answer.
That is the answer that I can say to you. But once I go back to Europe, is not the answer. People will tell me that I went crazy. It's easy to talk about spirituality in spiritual place, but how will I go back to the Europe where everybody is drunk and drugged all day, and I will go there and tell them spirituality is the answer? Come on.
But you can
They
give
will
them
burn me as a witch there, bro.
Yeah, I
will
understand.
get burned.
Because at that moment you just shut down. Your mind is not receptive to anything. So maybe you can give them an experience of meditation, or give them a first-hand experience about the breathing and the techniques.
I mean, there is a people that for sure will. The things that I learn here, there is like a couple people there that are already very interesting in what is happening with me. They see like a lot of transformation, and especially people who knew me like 3 years ago, they see that, they hear it in my voice, they see it on my face. There is people should be interested in that. Like I should be the change, and I should come to this point of life where I will just walk and talk, and then people will say, okay, what is this that you have?
So inspiring them by yourself, by your presence.
Like Romina inspired me. That is how I ended up in India. So that's why I say Romina is my art of living. I was inspired by her energy and calmness, and she had this, she was so calm, and her eyes, and I don't know, I was really triggered what she have and where did she get it. And that's how I come to the ashram. I didn't have no idea about ashram and Gurudev and what's happening here. So I was triggered by her appearance. And that is the best thing that you can do. Be an example.
Just by the vibes. She didn't have to even say anything about spirituality.
Literally no. She was talking something, but I didn't understand nothing anyway. So, Yeah, I didn't understand what
You just
means.
felt it.
Yeah, I just felt it. She was talking about ashram. Still, I don't know what ashram means. About silent programs, happiness program, and so on and so on and so on, and guru. And I was like, whatever. Anyway, I want to see it, and then I come. I wanted to see her. I wanted to see ashram. I wanted to see where this is coming from, what she is actually. And that
What
is
drug she is on.
what drug she is on. And I discovered the best drug ever, actually. But it was my path, it was my destiny. Actually, I am the only one Bosnian person from Bosnia in ashram, so that says a lot about how we are aware of.
There needs to be more awareness in that region of the world.
Definitely. So imagine if you're the only one person. I was also on Sri Lanka. That is what I wanted to say you. And there in Kandy, in some Buddhist temple, on the top of the hill with big white Buddha. And normally when I was on Bali, here in India, in Malaysia, when I say I'm from Bosnia, people have no idea where Bosnia is. Like they say, yes, we know. And then I ask, okay, where? In America. They think that it's Boston or whatever. Never mind. So the people on Bali, Lombok, India, Malaysia have no idea. But when I was on Sri Lanka, I was really surprised that people knows where Bosnia is, and they are teaching in the school about what happened in Yugoslavia as a bad example. So I was like, you know where is Bosnia? And anyway, I entered this temple, and this guy on the counter was like, oh, you are from Bosnia. You are the first woman that come from the Bosnia, actually first person that come from the Bosnia that I know. And I know everything about Bosnia, ex-Yugoslavia, we are teaching in the school. And I was like, what? Okay, whatever, we are bad example in the world. It says a lot. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to say that is how when it comes to the spirituality, I guess we are not so aware of it.
So more awareness could be done. Do people watch YouTube there?
No.
No.
We don't have even the phones. You want them to watch this podcast? No. They will never watch it.
What are they interested in?
What?
What do people watch on the internet, or how do they entertain themselves in Bosnia?
Oh my God, you think I know it? I have no idea. I mean, I know
Your brother, is in Bosnia? Where is
yeah, he's in Bosnia.
he? What does he do?
Don't ask me what he do. Like, there is a lot of very... there is a lot of contents there that make people even more dumb. So that is the mainstream of the YouTubes in Europe. Definitely not in Bosnia, in everywhere. They are following this Insta stars, influencers that have no idea about nothing, but they are talking about everything. And so people watch 2 podcasts and they give themselves right to talk about everything what they want with zero life experience and knowledge about anything. More or less that is what's happening there.
It's in many countries, it's either sports, politics, or I don't know, as you said, social media stars these days. So is that what inspires them? How well established is sports there? Because I read there were a couple of Olympics which were held in Bosnia.
I wasn't never in the sport. Also,
Okay.
I wasn't also never interested in that. So, except Novak Djokovic from Serbia, that is well known, like is the best tennis player in the world. Literally, he is the number 1. Nobody reached this place he reached except him. And actually, I know that the Novak Djokovic is deeply in spirituality. He's
Oh.
also promoting breath working, and he's vegan and a lot of things. For example, he could be like very good example for the most of the people because he built himself from nothing and he become number one in the world. Like his name is like he's like a Rolling Stones. He's like a Madonna. He's even bigger than that, and he's promoting to the people. I even watch some short YouTube clip when the people ask him like how to be more centered and focused, and he said, "Yeah, breath work can help a lot. Like that is the number one."
Wow.
And still, if you go there and say to the people breath work, they will look at you like that. But everybody like him, but nobody's following his lifestyle, kind of. And he could make a huge change, for example, but I don't know how much is that happening. Sport, as I said, I never was in the sport. But like a lot of people are more into watching the sport than
Not
to
playing
practicing the sport. Yeah.
So when you came to ashram, after you did the courses, what was the experience of the courses? How do you feel now?
As a different person. Experience with the courses. So I didn't had any idea what is waiting on me, and even because I wanted always to. Actually, I knew that sooner or later I will go back to the nature, because the nature was like always something that was very inspiring me, and I find myself deeply connected with the nature. I was always hugging the trees, and I was, no matter where I was living and what I was doing and in what state of mind I was always the person who was hugging the trees, for example, and respecting all the creatures of the planet, insect, no matter, like I was always like very I was always respecting the nature as itself.
So do you felt more closer to the nature after coming here? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was always really connected. That didn't change. Now I'm feeling closer to myself. That's a difference. That is a huge difference. But with the nature, these things never change, because I was always on a very high level of respecting everything. So
you have also got tattoos of gratitude, thanking India and thanking the silence. Can you show?
Yes. Where should I show it?
To this camera. Yes.
Can you read it in Hindi?
Dhanyavad Bharat, Dhanyavad.
Okay. I have that.
I'll say it in the mic. Dhanyavad Bharat, Dhanyavad Monam.
Okay, and I guess this one is more interesting to you.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. So as I said, I'm more connected to myself. I never had the issue with the nature. I had issue with myself.
So now you feel closer to yourself.
Definitely.
Transformed.
I'm so happy that this happened to me, actually, since I started my trip 5 months ago. I accidentally ended up in Bali because I wanted to be a yoga teacher. No, I thought it's a yoga retreat. And then I ended up in Bali, and they told me that I have to finish that the course that I applied for is actually for a yoga teacher. And I wasn't able to do one sun salutation. And I didn't had zero idea about what yoga is. Eventually, I went through this process. I finished for yoga teacher. I get into this ideology, philosophy, what yoga is, and I was very interested in that. And then after the course was finished, I didn't want to leave the Bali, because I was like, I thought there is something more that is waiting on me. And then I decided, like, whoever sit next to me, I will just go with the flow. Whoever sit next to me and start topic about something, I will go there. And I will do that. And I was living by following the signs. So I was very open for whatever people were talking about. And then one day, I was in Canggu. And I don't know how I ended up on the table where was Romina and Pavan. And Pavan was follower of Sadhguru, and Romina was a devotee of Gurudev. Can I say so? I can say so. Thank you so much.
Gurudev
Don't
Shri
kill
Shri
me
Ravi Shah.
with these beautiful eyes. And last year in Dubai, I was watching Sadhguru. He had like a big event in Coca-Cola Arena. Was like 13,000 people there. And since I was 20 years old, I was into Sadhguru. But I thought Sadhguru is dead. I don't know. He's from mythology. For me, that was like so far. I thought I will never be able to see those people. And eventually I ended up there, and it was very great experience. And then I wished to go to India, but I was like, what will I go to India? Why will I go to India? What will I do in India? What is India? Anyway, I was on this table, and he was talking about Sadhguru. She was talking about Gurudev. And a couple months before I met her, I saw the Gurudev on Instagram. And for me also I had no idea who was he. I don't want to say something else. But for me was like only Sadhguru as something that I know, yeah? And then I wanted for sure to go to the Sadhguru ashram when they were talking about it, but I liked more Romina energy. That was also like very triggering. There is this guy, he's talking about Sadhguru, and I'm into Sadhguru, but I'm into this girl now. How we can explain this? So eventually I told her I will come to the ashram. I don't think she believed me, but later on she told me that she wanted it from the bottom of the heart, me to come. And then it happened like that I just overnight decided, okay, I'm going to India, I'm going to Romina, to ashram, Gurudev is there. I wanted to be a healer, and then she sent me the program that I have to finish in order to become a healer. And I didn't want it even to Google to see what happiness or silent program is. And I remember when we were on reception, and I was like, I want to finish these courses. And I don't know, did she ask me, do I even know what is this? And I was like, I have no idea what is it.
I just want to do it.
And then she was like, she asked our colleague, like, did you ever had a person who just coming and finishing the courses and she don't even know what they're about? So yeah, I was just going with the flow, and the flow was very right, very good flow. And when I finished happiness program, actually this Sudarshan Kriya, I didn't want to practice it, to be honest. It was annoying. This Soham part was killing me. Like, I couldn't manage to do this, and I didn't want to do it. And especially when they said to me, you have to do it 40 days. And I'm not working. My brain is not working on you have to do it. My brain working only on polite words, on arguments, or why I should do it, explanation. When you say to me you have to do it because you have to worship, no, I will not do it for sure. And then I was talking with one girl that she explained me why it's good for me to do next 40 days Sudarshan Kriya, and she gave me arguments, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. I will do it. And then I did this silent program.
Arguments like what?
That I will not be able to explain it. But anyway, every day there is some, it's not a hormone, it's some cells in us that they like popping out from the system, and they should be restarted, like. And in order to restart all the body, we should practice it for 40 days to restart all these cells. I don't know how she explained, but it was very interesting for me. And then after I did the silent program, that was one of the best life experience I had. For me, silent program is one of the best things that happened to me, for sure, definitely. And then during the silent program, I start to practice Sudarshan Kriya, and I was like, okay, I will do it for 40 days, and I did it. And each 5-10 days, I saw a huge change. First of all, in my body, and then when I was on Bali, when we do the yoga, we always had to do the sankalpa. And my only sankalpa was like, I want to become 8 limbs of yoga, what was very interesting. And then I ended up here. In Bali, I was learned only asanas, 1 limb of yoga. And here in ashram, I was able to experience other 7 limbs of yoga.
Wow.
So that is very interesting, because the breath work and Sudarshan Kriya helped me a lot to go deeper into my asana, into my meditation, what is also 1 limb of yoga. So I got it what I was set up affirmation for.
Amazing.
My dream come true, kind of.
I have a couple of questions that we ask to people of every country, just to get the perspective. What do people in Bosnia think about India?
You asked me what people in Bosnia think about
Or what did you think? What was your impression of India before coming here?
I didn't think. I wouldn't like. Only thing I know about India is like Indian telenovelas, like that are like, you know, telenovelas.
What do you mean by telenovelas? Musicians?
Telenovelas. No, do you know what is telenovela? Just a second. I hope I didn't say it on the Spanish. Indian series.
TV series,
Yeah, you know the
drama, TV series.
Yeah. This one that are never ending.
Yeah.
Like,
So name some of them.
I have no idea, because I never personally watched. People in Bosnia were watching it, and then I would come by and see they're watching it, and it's always like, you know, this. They take one moment, and they're cutting it into 1,000 pieces, and it's lasting for 5 minutes. She's looking him, he's looking her, and and this is like hypnotizing type of. I was like, what is this? Who is making this? And I know back then that there was one Syria where there was some village in India when the girl childs are born, they killing them. They don't want. It's not allowed to born a female child. So that type of village in India somewhere still exists. That the female kids are getting killed.
That documentary is.
It was Syria, like I said. I
Okay.
had no. So, but about India, I didn't had no idea.
But you know, that has changed a lot. In fact, now it's a very good time for girl childs to be born.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
So save a child, beti bachao, beti padhao, teach a girl child. So I mean, if you're a woman in India, you're more lucky now because everything favors them.
Oh wow! Finally, that's good. But back then, in the past, it wasn't like that.
Yeah, in some part of India, not all the places.
How it was?
They preferred, because what happens is, I wanted to ask this to you. This is my understanding, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Before, having a girl child had negative connotations. The family of the girl had to give dowry to the husband.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what is dowry?
No idea.
It's like money or vehicles or something while marriage. So that becomes a burden to the family.
Mm-hmm.
So they prefer to have male kids.
Mm-hmm.
In some part of India. But, you know, I have been thinking about why this might have happened. So this is another thing that I get to know about different regions of world.
Mm-hmm.
In Africa, it is the opposite.
Okay.
The male gives money to the woman's family money
Okay.
or wealth. It's called bride money.
Okay.
But in India, it's opposite. The woman used to, not now, used to give money to the husband's family.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering the reason for that in this part of India, Rajasthan, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So there were always battles happening there,
Mm-hmm.
and all men were killed. So there were
Mhm.
only women at home and girls at home. So it must have been very difficult to find a man to get somebody married because of the low birth rates and men just dying at wars. So just like it's like reserving somebody. You just will give you more benefits. You just marry our child. That's
Okay.
why. So then it might have started like that, but it just became a part of the tradition
Mm-hmm.
that you pay to the groom's family for this
Mhm.
and that, stuff like that. But then they say it in the other way, that it is just for the child. It's for the girl itself, that she can use these things when she grows. She comes to the family, but it took a very negative turn. Uh, Violence in the house to get more money out of the girl's family.
Isn't it crazy actually that that is actually things like that happen, that you're choosing that your life is more worth, that female life is more worth or male life is more worth, like the female child has more worth or male child has more worth because you're thinking about money.
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy? So that is the war that I was talking about, that was happening outside and inside a house. Like, it's
Mhm.
not the things that I survived and that I was talking here about, is the common things everywhere, but on the different levels. Like, and it comes in another shapes, in another forms of violence, of the wars. Like, if you're choosing, oh, you give a birth to a female, you are not good woman, or she don't deserve to live. What is this type of the mind? What is this state of mind? It is worse than having a war in the country, like, kind of what is those women are going through, for
yeah,
example.
yeah. But these are you. It is not that bad in India. Now it's not that bad. And even when we take this example, no, it's from a very small place.
India is very big there.
Yeah,
Like,
so you cannot generalize it.
you cannot generalize. How big is Bangalore?
Population wise,
Yeah.
20 crore, 2 million to 3 million people.
2-3 million people. So what is the biggest city
I have to Google that. I don't want to be
okay.
incorrect on the stats.
Yeah, great. You don't know about your country. We don't know about my country. Anyway, so
No, I don't want to be incorrect. So
Okay, no worries.
because we count in crores here. It's difficult to convert in millions.
okay.
So last time, according to what I read last time, it was 2 to 4 crores. That's 20 to 40 million.
Okay, so
I don't want to get it wrong. Can you just Google population of Bangalore and population of Mumbai? These
okay,
Mumbai,
I'll
Delhi, and
Google
Bangalore
it.
are the biggest populated cities.
Let's Google it. Population.
Because India is as large as Europe, and each state is as big as a country.
2.9. What?
Population
12?
of Bangalore.
Current estimate city is
What does it say?
12 millions? Not possible. I don't know how to. Is it possible? Is it about millions?
Yeah, of course.
12 millions.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, when you say this is not happening nowadays in India, how many millions people you know?
I don't know millions, but if we have the social media, right, it's not there in my first, second, third, or fourth circle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. I've never heard about it
Mm-hmm.
in this generation.
I
And
believe that is still happening somewhere in the village, in private houses, and that that is not what people putting on the social media. This is a hidden from the society.
Now, if you see the cases or like, of course, I'm open to searching and knowing stats about it. Actually, we can actually search for how many cases of domestic abuse. But what happens with cases is cases being filed. If the number increases, that shows that people are okay with going and complaining also.
Mm-hmm.
That they believe in the system, that they believe that going and complaining and registering a case would get it solved. Before they wouldn't even come and register.
Yeah. I got it.
So, because we used to read about these things in our history books, and it was very cruel that time, or things like that in the past. Because of all these reforms and education and technology and these things growing up, things have been different.
Mm-hmm.
Even it wasn't in my case in my parents' generation also.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's more in the part of few northern states. I don't think it's in the south.
Okay.
In the south, in fact, it's the opposite. There are many states in Tamil Nadu where the male has to go to the woman's house and live there.
Mm-hmm.
They are considered as Devi. You might have seen in Devi Puja, right? There were a lot of 9 girls sitting on the floor and then women, and they were all praying to them.
Okay.
You saw in Navratri, right?
I mean, I saw a lot of things that I'm still not aware what I
Yeah, so they
saw.
were praying to them. They
Okay.
considered them as Devi. And it's
Okay.
pretty good. It's very safe in the south.
Mm-hmm. Actually, now I remember that when I was going to the India, one of my friend that I know him, he sent me to the message that that I should be afraid to not get raped in India, because that is what they heard on the social media. And also one friend from UK asked me last night what is my experience with India, because she's traveling all over the world alone, but she's afraid to come to India because she's afraid to be a woman in India, which I never heard something like that. Actually, I'm not the person who is following the social media.
So what was your experience here?
I don't have experience with India. I have experience with ashram. Experienced the ashram. I was like 2-3 times in Bangalore, and I felt pretty okay and normal. But you cannot ask me. My opinion and the way I'm traveling and the way I see the world is not what is common to the people, because nobody is meeting one girl and say, oh, I'm going to ashram. Like, people love to be prepared, to know what's happening, to know what they can expect. They have a lot of expectation. I'm not that type of the person. I have no expectation. I don't go and Google something about your country, because I don't care what they say about the country, because I know what is propaganda and what is media manipulation. Maybe because of it. So I just go there and experience it on
it
my
yourself.
own. Yeah. And all the experience that I had during these 5 months of traveling was one of the best things that happened to me ever in my life, because I didn't had any idea about where I'm going and what am I facing with. So my heart was open, and the heart of the people was open also. So
It's that way.
it should be.
That's the right way to experience
Yeah.
it yourself, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
And I feel very positive about it, because I know many solo travelers who have been all around and they have been always invited. There is a philosophy in India about Atiti Deva Bhava. Guest is stranger is a god for us. I was also staying in a village out of nowhere. They had no reason for me to keep them at their house at that late night. But they still invited me. They gave me all kind of amazing food and good comfort and everything. And next day I was out of there. So that's there everywhere.
Yeah, the experience, I don't know, like, once again, the experience of the ashram is for sure something else what India is. For sure, India has its
It's very
own,
complex. It's
bad
very
and
large.
good side, yeah.
I would just say like precautionary things. Like in the south, it's good. When you come to the place, um, don't go to late nights at remote places on your own.
Anywhere in the world, actually. It's
Yeah.
not only about India, anywhere.
So that's just that. What? Nothing else.
But I have to tell you something more. I think in previous life I was Indian woman. I'm completely in love with India. Completely in love with Hinduism, also Buddhism, like whatever it has.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like I love completely ideology of Indian people. It must be that I didn't put it just for no reason.
It's
It must
stronger
be
reason,
that
stronger connect.
there is something behind. There is something behind why I ended up here. There is something behind why I just put it. It must be something bigger that I don't know, and I don't even have to know. I feel it.
Couple of more questions from Bosnia.
Oh my God! Again about
these
the
are
war. No war,
not the
please,
war.
no.
These are
No more about the drugs and war and
these
will
are
cut it
common
all
questions. Common questions we ask all country
down. Okay.
to see what is the cultural difference.
Okay.
So the next question is about marriage.
Okay.
Is there anything unique that happens only in Bosnia regarding the marriage ceremony?
Yeah, they got married, they take the money and they got divorced tomorrow. That is very common nowadays. I have no idea.
Okay.
Really, like there is like a certain rituals also, like to give the present to the bride, the parents of the husband, they have to give to the bride some presents. Yeah, but it's not like a big deal nowadays. I don't know how it was before, but nowadays is like a showing off to bring as much as possible people as you can, like they
To the wedding.
making the 500 invitation and they don't have two friends, so it's like completely lack of common sense what is happening, and the people taking like a credits just to show off, to get the best dress, the best that is what happening nowadays. Completely insanity. Insta marriage,
Instagram
social
marriage,
media
okay.
marriages, that is what's happening, and then in 3 months they are not no more together.
What festivals happen? What are your favorite festivals back in Bosnia?
Festivals, what type of festivals?
By festival, I mean people coming and celebrating things, or a community celebration.
Why you didn't prepare me for these questions? First of all. Second of all, I told you I don't live there for 16 years.
In the 19 years that you lived, do you remember any specific festivals?
Yeah, there is a very, very, very special festivals. Like we have our saints, like that we are celebrating, and every house has his own saint that he's celebrating. And during these 2-3 days of celebrations, that is typical for Orthodox people. Catholic people and Muslim people, they don't celebrate those saints. And 365 days per year, like all of the days, every days we have special names for the special saints. And they are all written in the calendars with the black letters. And then with very big black letters is very special saint, and with the red letters written days, like even more special dates. And we are celebrating those saints. I'm also born on very big saints, like the woman, we call her Sveta Petka, and she's a lady in black, and she's protecting the woman and the child. So it's very huge saint in my country, and people celebrating it. And during those 2-3 days, we are cooking different type of the food, and we are calling our friends, and we are gathering in the house and eating together, drinking, and so on and so on. And every village, it has also the saints that we are celebrating. And during the period of the year, in these villages, we will make this big festival on the street, food festival, and there will be live music on the street. So people will just go into this small village, eat this street food, and listen this music, and we will have like ringispiel. I don't know how to say it for.
Is that the German word?
Exhibition for the ring. What? Sorry.
What did you say?
Ringispiel.
Is that German or?
No, this is Bosnian. It is carousel. Never heard, but I can show you, and then later on you can show to the Ringispiel. I have no idea.
Show me the image.
Yeah, you know this thing. And we were like also.
It's like a merry-go-round, but in the air.
Yeah.
With the swings around it.
And then you are like it's
Spins.
going in the round, and then there is like some doll that you have to hit with the legs, so you get the free ride and so on and so on. Somebody has to push you, and it's happening actually like this in the middle of nowhere.
When does it happen?
Different period of the years, different time of the years, like in different villages. But it's happening during the summer because we have the 4 season. During the summer or the spring, it's happening. Most common is maybe spring. Yeah, so that is the very, very things that I remember since I was a child, that we were going with the family on those type of the festival. I was very happy to eat this street food and to enjoy these rides.
What is a typical Bosnian street food?
A typical Bosnian street food. So, our street food is not like, I don't know how to say it. It's not like street food. You cannot just go on some kiosk and people just selling this type of the food. We make a small restaurants, like small houses where you can enter. Like here in India, everything is open, or like I saw in the Bali, they just go out on the street, they cook it and they give it like to you. We don't have things like this. Even if it's like even a hot dog or hamburgers or something like that, still we have
closed enclosure, a proper restaurant-like setting to give that. So what are the favorite food? What is the favorite Bosnian food?
Meat. Whatever has with meat is a Bosnian typical food. We have like very special. Again, I will show you. We call it cevapi. It's so good. Even if I don't eat meat no more, but that is so good. I don't know how to explain you, but we serve it with like that. It's made from. It's made from the meat. We serve it with the onions and bread, and it has like really, really very typical, special flavor. We are very famous for that. Mm-hmm. And burek and
we can make a vegan version of it also, right? With soya beans.
We can try. Like we have to get a really good recipe for that, and that's. And this is what we are famous for, also with the meat or with the cheese, or I don't know how you call it here, but we call it pita.
Pita bread.
Filled with different flavors, so that is very, very common food in Bosnia. Okay. And
is Bosnia a good place to travel? Would you suggest people to travel to Bosnia?
It's very, very safe. Yeah, that is also, I have to go back to this point when my friend told me that India is not safe. And then I told him, like, then what we should say about the people in Bosnia and Serbia, because nowadays it's very common things that domestic violence still is happening, but it's like every 2-3 days you will read in the newspapers that husband killed his wife or opposite, or we even had this thing that happened that kid come to the school and he killed so many kids. It
Yeah,
was
the
like
gun violence in
the
US.
gun that happened also in the Belgrade in Serbia. And then I told him, what if the people from this part of the world read this about us, and would they want to come to our country? And he was like, yeah, but there is no but. The violence and things like this happen everywhere in the world. What is happening?
Magic.
Boo. Turn on. You don't want.
Yeah, that's something
won't.
crazy, you know.
What?
Gun violence is something unheard of in
Definitely.
India.
Oh, sorry?
Gun violence,
It's common?
it's
It's not happening.
not happening at all.
It happening in our country. It happened. It was like a big deal that happened. And actually, it happened that this little kid, did it. And then within like 1-2 days, another like young guy, he killed also like couple of people. So the violence here is like a really huge problem that is happening.
So more like a
But
mental
that
issues.
but that is not the real picture of Serbia or Bosnia or Croatia or Montenegro, or never mind what part of Yugoslavia. That is not what people are. People like really open-hearted and humble, and we really love the strangers. We really love, and especially the idea about like to meet somebody from the outside to show off, like to go outside. Oh, I have a friend from India or this. Never mind. We are really into it. Like we really love, and people are really welcome. So it's very, very, very good place to visit and to experience. And we still having like lot of nature, like lot of lakes, we having even the lake in Bosnia where we can drink the water from, how clean it is. And that is very next to the pyramid. That is not, it's like very sensitive topic. They don't want to open this topic because not so long ago we discovered the pyramids in Bosnia. So that is like also forbidden topic, because if this topic is started to open, then whole the history will be wrong. And because the pyramid is in Egypt, not in Bosnia, and now we discovered the pyramid also in Bosnia, which are real. And there is like this special lake that you can drink the water from it, how clean it is.
I read it's very famous for waterfalls also. It has more waterfalls than Italy, France and Germany combined.
Wow, really? I was only on one. I didn't know how many. Really? I told you I know more about India about Bosnia. But the nature there is really something people should see it. Like it's like in the American movie, we have this big canyons, like wild rivers that going around the canyons.
Nature is very good.
Oh my God, it's so crazy. Like there is some places in Bosnia that that are mesmerizing, like literally amazing places. So I would recommend it for sure.
Another cultural question related to the death and funeral. How do funerals happen in Bosnia?
Depends of the religion again. So
Let's hear about Orthodox, as you are Orthodox.
Or how it happened. We buried the dead people, and I don't know what to say more. Everybody's allowed to come, and even the males, females, kids are allowed to come. And then when we were burying the dead person, I don't know how to say the proper word, dead person, that
Yeah.
it's not, it has a
Dead body.
It shouldn't be like that. Let's say Google Translate. Podcast with Google Translate. It said decedent. Decedent? Do you know this word?
Deceased.
No. Deceased, okay? Okay. So when we bury deceased, there is like a priest who is saying some prayers. We bury the person. After we bury the person, there is a food that we are serving on the graves. So everybody has to take the piece of the food.
On top of the coffin, on top of the grave.
No.
You
Here
put
is
the
the grave, and here has to be some house, like next to, close to this place where they are graving the people, and there should be like small house for this occasion where we are serving the food, and after it's done, we go there and we eat for the soul of the deceased. Yeah, so that is it more or less.
Okay.
Which I think, for example, in Muslim religion, as far as I know, is not allowed women to go there. Only males. So in my religion is allowed. Everybody can go.
And also, when I think about Orthodox Christians, I see the priest wearing these black robes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
And the church is lot of heavy work. Very colorful and lot of designs and lot of carvings and all there.
It's very beautiful place to visit to see it. I was actually never connected with the church. I don't know why, but it's very, very beautiful to see, and also for sure to experience. I don't know, what is this? Whenever I talk about the church, it's shutting down. Buddha. Yeah, it's very nice things to see for sure, as all the temples and
absolutely
the buildings like that.
Thank you so much. Anything we missed out in the conversation that you would like to add?
A lot of important things we missed out, and a lot of unnecessary things we talk about, which you will cut.
What things did we miss out?
I mean, it's like my hugest issue is that I'm very spontaneous. My hugest issue and my biggest good side is that I'm a very spontaneous person and I'm open to talk about everything. But there is a certain topics that are... I don't hide nothing, as you see. I'm not the person who hide, and from one side, I think I shouldn't talk about like the domestic violence that I experienced in my house and the drug experience that I had, and my side, my view about maybe the vaccination. But from another side, I think I should say it actually, because people are hiding those things, like they're hiding their opinions. They are living somebody else's opinions, and they're like, nowadays it's everything like to represent this beautiful life you have, and everything is so expensive.
In social media, you always show off.
Shiny, and everything is showing off, and nobody don't want to say what's really actually bothering them. Like,
true.
Nobody don't want to talk about the huge problem that we are facing in Europe regarding the drugs and alcohol and cigarettes and depression and anxiety and antidepressive. Nobody's talking about it. It's completely normal things to say, hey, I'm not feeling good, I'm going to the doctor, he will give me some antidepressives. And let's live. Let's go to the party and let's drink a little bit alcohol. Like, so this is like really normal things to say, and it's even really normal things nowadays to say I'm taking drugs. Like, but when they have to talk open about it, like when it's not in these small circles, when they have to go outside to say it aloud, yes, I'm having the problem with that, nobody don't want to say it. Everybody's hiding it. So from one side, I think it's not smart that I said. From another side, I think it's super smart. Like, somebody has to step out and say it aloud. And I'm not ashamed of who I was, and I'm not afraid about nothing. And I'm really grateful for all those things that happened to me to be able to see and experience this side of life. It's like that. You have to go through the darkness to go to the light. That is the only thing. And I guess if I went through all of this, I wouldn't be here with open heart with you. I wouldn't see Ramina. I wouldn't experience this, and I wouldn't able to bring this light back to the Europe.
Absolutely, 100% agree.
So
Yeah, thank you so much and for sharing all these elements from your life that are very sensitive, you're very sensitive about, and you still share it with others. I'm pretty sure that it will impact and change somebody's life.
hey, I hope so. I really hope so. But I guess it's a matter of time when I will affect on somebody else's lives, because I'm writing also a book. So I will put everything in the book, like what I experienced, and it's, I guess, for me, because I went through all of these things. If I'm next to the person who tomorrow, if I'm healer, and then come to me the person that is struggling with drugs and these things or that things, I can talk with this person on another level that nobody else can. No matter how university they finish, no matter how many books they read, they cannot feel this person the way I can feel, because I was there. So I guess I would have also another possibility on a higher level to help those people who are struggling with the drugs or alcohol, or if they need help, and if I'm healer, so I can help them. Yeah. So
Awesome.
it will be good in the end, everything.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev means victory to the bigger mind.
Yes. That's what happened to me, actually. Completely. To all of us.
Thank you for watching this podcast till the end. Please let us know in the comments what more topics and guests would you like to see in future episodes.